development stream number 22. There is no thing today, webcam today, because it is incredibly hot. It is right now in my house a whopping 97 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, you should come in the bedroom soon.
Yeah.
Huh? How you feeling? You look like you don't feel very good.
Alright. Hey, Kosiago. Haven't made anything yet. We're going to finish implementing the metal fab thing. So let's get started finishing the metal fabrication tools. Alright, so I believe we got the bench vise is the last thing we gotta work on implementing. And we gotta put them all on top of a thing, so we're gonna delete those. We're gonna delete these proxies. I'm not sure how long, folks, I will have enough energy to actually watch the work on this. But yeah. Oh, oops, I forgot to mute my thing. Creep UA. Yeah, you know. Okay, guys, so we're going to just go through making our geometry, our fire geometry, our view geometry, our memory, and our memory points. Pretty much the same exact thing we did it last time. I live in Seattle, Washington, Santiago. It rains all the time. I'm happy to have the sun, but man, is it brutal right now. Alright, so we're going to just create our geometry first, and then we'll work on the other stuff. Actually, what we want to do is we're going to make front Y, top X, left X, and then we're just going to put this vise into the center of the map. It's a vise, a metal vise for holding things to screw down / drill on, cut. So this is what it looks like. Creep you A. Alright, yep, but that's what it looks like, Creep. Are you the Creep from the Modders Discord? Because that guy is really cool. And if you are, hey, how you been? Made the model myself. You know, I think the base of this could have used a bit more normal mapping. Is my stream still working? Yeah. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Let's get to working on implementing it into DayZ itself. So we're going to turn on this. Oh, okay. Is the stream back? Alright. It looks like the stream's okay now. I don't know why it flipped out for a second there. But either way. Alright, so if people weren't here for yesterday, we're making a geometry. In the geometry, we're just going to make a box, and we're going to then push V, select the vertices, and we're going to resize the box to fit around our vise. Now, if you want to, technically, you could uh, you could, you know, make this be perfect around the entire thing, like a geometry for every part of this. But like I was saying with some of the other stuff, it's not necessarily needed when you have an object like this. So what we could do is we could just create a box like that, and then we can kind of slightly angle it like this. Yeah, I'm not a great texture maker, creep, but I do try. I did the model myself from scratch. I did the textures from scratch, but I make no illusions that I'm actually a decent texture maker. Alright, and then once we got this done, we just go to our structure, topology, and we go find components. We don't need to make sure they're closed because we created a box, you know, from the get-go and stuff like that. And now we got this. Last thing we need to do is need to make a property called auto center 0, and there we go. If anybody in this channel doesn't know who Creep is one of the nicest and well represented people from the Modders Discord. He actually answers your questions properly and well, and is very, very respectful to you, even if you don't ask the right question or have necessarily the right answer. Are you talking about like sharp edges? So like marking the edges as sharp inside the model itself. So like in my metal workbench, on my vise, go here and then go to edge mode and then select this and then go to mark sharp. Is that what you mean? Because if that's what you mean, then I think I know what you intend overall. Yeah, so I didn't actually set any of these edges to be sharp, because I don't understand how sharp edges actually work. And it's not that I don't. Oh, I don't want to mark seam, clear seam. It's not that I don't want to understand how they work. It's just sometimes, you know, it's easier to move on with things when you don't understand them. But yeah, I definitely could go back and improve a lot of my models by using mark sharp edges and stuff, right? Okay. So I'll have to go and actually learn how to do that properly. If that will improve my my models so much better, because I believe that when you mark sharp edges and stuff, it helps with the shading and other texture lighting parameters. Okay. So we're just going to duplicate this, I think, 3 times, I believe, and then we're just going to change these into what we want them to be. One of these days, I actually want to go through and like figure out what every single one of these LODs do, because I think that'd be a really cool thing to do, like a short video on. All right, so we have all of our stuff. Mind you, we don't want to have all the same stuff. It's easier to have a box for something. Like the memory point, it's easier to have a box. Okay. Well, let's follow what Creep just said. All right. So he says when exporting, go to. So if I were to export, let's say this, I go to the geometry, not armature, geometry, and then I go to and select edge there instead of normals only. So there you go. So yeah, folks, if you guys ever want to know how to export an FBX with the proper edges, then do what he just said. In the export settings, when you go to File, Export, you can then go to Geometry, Smoothing, change it from normals to edge, and it should work. I don't know what the other ones do, but that's a really cool trick. So thank you, man. Okay. Man, I am so freaking hot. It's like torture. Alright, so right now we're making the bounding box. I know quite a few people here that are watching me have watched me many times in the past. I know what a bounding box is, but for those of you who not understand what a bounding box is, it's essentially saying that this box is the area in which my camera will be looking at. This is like essentially the perspective of the camera, the area that which the camera is going to be viewing. Hey Clay, being shirtless, oh, whatever. But yeah, this box is how the area in which they're viewing the model. So if I had this, thing like 5 times the size, that would be the area in which my model is viewable. Which technically, yeah, that works, but it's not necessarily a good idea. The bigger your model is, the less you have to worry about the bounding box, like how well it is, because some things are just so big, it's just all like, it doesn't really matter if you get it precisely. But something a little bit smaller like this does matter, at least in my head. Alright, and then what you do is you essentially just define the edges. So you select the upper leftmost corner or the upper rightmost corner, and you select the exact opposite corner. You can choose whatever corners you wish to select. They just have to be opposite of the corner initially. Alright, and then we push insert, and then we're going to make a camera. So this is called the viewing camera, or the in view, as it's spelled. What this does is essentially imagine a cone, and the camera cone goes to here, down to here, back to here, and everything in the camera cone is where the camera is pointed. The reason why this works is because we have designated a bounding box and a bounding box min here. And then we have the in view, and the in view is like someone holding a camera looking at the box. So wherever I move this camera, it's going to be looking at the box. So if I want it to be angled, now the camera is looking at it from this angle. So it's like almost like a 45-degree angle. It's looking at this. And that's how you angle it so you can see the camera. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that, and let's go to our view geometry. Again, this one actually doesn't need anything special. We just have to make it so this geometry is viewable. So when someone looks at the device, they can pick it up into their inventory or use their tab to pick it up. And then fire geometry, again, because this thing's made out of nothing but pure metal. We don't have to do anything fancy with it. So we're just going to go to RV mats, go to DayZ, data, penetration, and we're just going to give it a 23mm thing. Now when someone shoots the device, it will spark, make the sound of metal shooting, and it will reduce the health of the item, as well as you can see the bullet hitting the item. If you don't have a proper fire geometry made, most times you won't see or be able to damage the items. Okay, so let's go to our P drive and let's check it out. Okay, so okay, so we got the ND drill press. We're just going to rename this to the ND Vice, and we're going to, of course, call this Vice testing, and then we're going to change the model out. Alright, everything else doesn't really matter. We're just making sure all the models look okay in game. So let's go ahead and pack it and check it out. If anybody has any questions, I'm always happy to answer to the best of my ability. Mind you, I am not a professional coder, professional modeler, or scripter, or even texture maker, but I have learned a lot from my past 2 years from the help of people like Creep and stuff like that, and I like to pass on the information best I can. So, again, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Okay.
I have questions.
My wife has questions.
What's the square root of pi?
She's asking what the square root of pi is. Does anybody know what the square root of pi is?
Fail.
My wife says failure. Alright, mission. Let's try this. Oh, I just made a mistake. I need to shut the game down when I get a chance because I'm trying to boot up my other testing folder setup. Okay, so I just pretty much force closed the thing. Okay, so we want to go to metal workbench testing, which is just CF and metal, the folder that I'm working with. We don't need to worry about all those other mods yet because right now we're just trying to make sure that the models, the textures, all work properly, and then we can start working on then after we get it all done, we can then make sure it's compatible with my server pack. Like all my mods, my ammo making, my military and forging mod, this mod, once it's fully completed, once this mod is fully completed and on Dawn, for probably a month, I'll release it to the Steam Workshop as its own independent mod. But yeah, just because I don't like hoarding information to my server specifically. And I thought it was 3.14 something 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 something, but 2.23, is that like the super calculus, like beyond my intelligence number for it? Okay, I'm like brain farting here. And device. How does this look? Ooh. I spelled the testing name wrong, but it's not bad. Let's get rid of that. Would you look at that? I think it looks pretty good. I got the grid looking really well on there. No, it looks like a vise I've used many times as a kid. Sorry about that. People, telemarketers calling. How rude. I don't like the shininess there, but overall, I think it looks pretty good. I use Substance Painter Creep to texture. Go into free cam mode and then slow the free cam down a little bit. Oh yeah, that looks good. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, not bad for somebody of my skill with texturing, mind you, folks. There are people who could make me look like an idiot with this kind of texturing, but I am quite happy with my texturing ability. Okay. If people haven't seen the past few streams, this is my drill press that I made from scratch. As you can see, there is some hard lines in it. Oh yeah, you're right. 308 ammunition does look really good. Here's my handles. The spit right there, you know, this round cylinder thing could do a better job. Threw a little plaque on there. It says New Dawn Incorporated, and then it says HP bench drill. I even have it New Dawn engraved in the back just for fun. And then, you know, I even made little divots all over the front this thing to kind of emulate the drill. I made a chop saw, which if anybody was here when I was modeling this in Blender, you'll know how much I struggled to get this perfectly right. Okay, definitely creep. Definitely will, man. My stream slowing down? Alright. I don't think my stream's slowing down, is it? Alright, so there's my bench saw. I could technically should have put like, you know, a bolt right here so it looked like, you know, it was attached, but that's okay. And then finally, we have our bench grinder, which I am pretty pleased with. Some bad texturing right here. You can see on the edge how the edge is darker than the other side. And then I made the rod inside there, which if you look really closely from the outside you can see, but yeah. Okay, so let's test out this this last model I have. FNX ground. Yep, I heard it. That's taking damage, but let's go ahead and take this and then drop it on the ground and shoot it one more time. Yeah, there we go. If anybody is wondering why the health isn't going all the way down, it's because inside of the config CDP, I don't have the health system set up properly. So from here, that looks good. Looks good inside of the inventory as well. So this is what I'm talking about when I was talking about the bounding box. So as you can see, this is what it looks like bounding box wise from the bounding box I have. If I had a larger bounding box, it would be like even smaller, like really small. That's what it should be doing. So why isn't it doing that? Let's So I don't think the fire geometry is working on that. Because you shoot these things, you can see the sparks coming off. See? Spark, 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 spark. But this is, oops. Yeah, see, I'm shooting the ground. It's not actually creating the sparks that it's supposed to, because I gave it the penetration armor thing. So I think my fire geometry is messed up. So let's fix that. Okay, fire geometry. Yeah, see, it's the fire geometry is messed up. Yeah. So let's just delete this component. We'll delete the box, and we'll just make a new box and create our own fire geometry for that. It shouldn't be too hard. When you have fire geometries, what's cool about fire geometries is you can actually have multiple fire geometries for your item. So like if you have, like, let's say part of your item that is made of wood, you can make a wood fire geometry for that. So when they shoot it, it acts and sounds like wood being shot. I think it's pretty darn cool that we can do stuff like that. And it's the little things that people will notice when you do them, when they're playing with your mods. Okay, I think after we make sure the fire geometry works, let's go ahead and just decimate this. If you make any kind of models, please make sure you try to optimize your models based off distance. So what we do here is we go we create a duplicate of 0.00 and we make 1.00, and you just click detect, and sometimes the detect isn't very good, but we have here we have almost 3k vertices. If we click OK, you can see it took it down to 973. Now honestly, I think that's way too low. I think that that should not be that low, because it's detecting them way too much, and you don't want to do that, because the LOD, the 1.0 LOD is like 10 meters or I think it's like 10 or 20 meters plus. So if you only have 0.0 and 1.0, if a player will always render this model as that crappy at 976 vertices from 20 meters or plus, which will make it look really bad from a distance. So what we can do is we can change the merge near and click OK. So just detect it and then put this as 2. Let's get rid of the rest. So now we're at 2.5. And if you, like, Creep is saying that this is kind of a bad idea sometimes, but most times you're not going to have to worry about this because all you're doing is making it optimized based off distance. So now that we're, you know, at 2568, we're at 0, we're at 2965. So here we have 2568, which is like a 3 to 400 vertice difference. From a distance, you're not going to notice anything different from like 20 meters. And if you zoom in on the object renders in at the distance that you have zoomed into it on. So if you're standing at 20 meters and you were to like use your middle mouse to look at it, it will act like as if you were standing within within 19 meters or closer. So the model would render in at the 2965 vertices, I believe. So, you know, as you get further distance, you can decimate the model more and more, merging the vertices together, which makes the model look worse. But when you're from a distance, the model becoming worse and worse looking isn't a problem because it's not going to be seen from a very far distance, like in great detail. And yes, sometimes merging verts ignores UV seams, and the model's texture can become really messed up, and the model itself can look really bad. But you just got to be aware of that. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that like I know what the model is going to look like. When I am looking at it. As you can see, it still looks pretty good compared to this one. And if anybody wants to say like that the models aren't changing, just can do this real quick. There's a cube. There's no cube. So the display model we're seeing is changing properly along with it. So that's why it's important to make sure you check out what your model looks like as you decimate. So like at 2.00, this is what my model would look like. As you can see, there is some flaws in it, some other divots and issues that I don't like, but from the distance that someone's viewing this from, they're not going to notice, unless they have way better eyes than I do, which is totally possible. Now, I am not saying that this is the best way to decimate your models and stuff. I'm pretty sure, like, the gentleman Creep in channel knows a lot better of a way. But this can be a great way to optimize your models without being knowledgeable about those other ways. So now, in this one, you'll probably see you see the handles are all gone there. That handle it's starting to look really blockish. Overall, it's starting to come undone. We're going to do it one more time. And pretty much this one will like look the worst, but this is definitely a really far distance. This is like over, I think, 350 meters plus. So if you can see this from 350 meters, I will give you a goddamn award as just a character. You know, because like even if you zoom in on this with a hunting scope, it will show the LOD that the hunting scope zooms into it from. But yeah, so this is how many vertices will be shown from like 350 meters plus, which means that which is 406 faces and 196 points, which means that when you are running towards a city, these sort of things aren't going to be rendering in at 3K polys. They're going to render in at 196 polys, and then it's going to render in at like as you get closer, it's going to render at 560, 728, and then it's going to go 1273, hello plural style. And then finally, when you're standing on top of the object or 10 meters or less from it, it's going to be, you know, the 2965. I'm not necessarily closing Bulldozer because, you know, I want to keep it up, but I was just, you know, switching between both of them. But I know what you mean. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out the fire geometry on this. Oh, thank you guys very much for the follow. Plurn style. I appreciate it. Is that UTH? Okay. Let's go ahead and boot up the game. Alright, so if anybody is ever interested, I have other videos. I have this is my 22nd video. I put it on YouTube under a playlist called New Dawn Development, just so my players can see the amount of work that goes into actually making the stuff for them. And you know, sometimes they can give feedback, which is really nice. Gotta put a bullet in there. Sun's in my eyes, so. Yep, I heard it. There we go. Alright, so we walk from this distance. Sure. So as you can see, folks, the model can still be seen. If I zoom in on it, it gets better. And then from here, you can see it looks better, better, better. Now here we are. Who just PM me? Nobody. Okay. So I could probably fix the LOD distance rendering thing a bit more, but see how it throws. Just because, I like to throw things. Nice. Yep, that's what it's supposed to look like. See all the sparks coming off of it. Again, I didn't do the health properly. Okay, so I think all of the items are now fully implemented properly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up a bench file, and we're going to make proxies for these. It is so hot where I'm at. Like, it's 33 Celsius right now. For Americans, it's 99 Fahrenheit, which is, again, why I'm not using my webcam, because I would look like I was melting in front of you. Alright, so we're going to use actually the workbench from my ammo making. As you can see, my workbench for my ammo making isn't actually optimized at all, but then again, it only has 256 or 500 points, so it's not that big of a deal. So we're actually going to go to save as, and we're going to call this metal fab workbench. We don't need to have the dashes in there. Okay. Don't get old, folks. It sucks. Alright, so we're going to move this over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the thing. Alright. So believe it or not, this is one of my really, really old models. Like, it's one of the first models I ever made for DayZ. So it probably doesn't look amazing, but you know what? I've never really worried about that. Alright. So what we're doing today is we're going to proxy in all of our stuff. So I actually want to proxy in the two biggest ones first, which is going to be the drill press, and then we're going to proxy in the chop saw for, second. Okay. Okay, so got that there. Now, what I want to do is bring it to like the middle of the table. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys think I should adjust this to be in the middle? Should I leave it at the middle of the table, or should I adjust it to be like to the side? Because like most like metal fab shops that I've ever worked in, it's always been to the side. Kind of like that. Alright. So I think that actually looks good there. Let's go ahead and just like look at them both together. That looks nice. The drill press could actually technically go backward. Yeah, like that. I think that looks good. Alright, now we got a proxy in the chop saw, and then we can do the other two. Chop saw! Have you seen my metal chop saw? It was built by the gods. I'm kidding. It was built by me. A lot of people in my community like to joke around about dump god, dump god, dump god. But I find it really annoying. Alright. Oh, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it should be closer together? Like that? Well, let's get the other things on here, and then we can like really start playing with the layout of them. But yeah. Because we won't really know the space we're going to have until we actually like get all of the items on the table. See you, creep. Thanks for watching me, man. I'll hit you up on Discord later. Honestly, folks, I don't know how much longer I actually have in me. There we go. That's good enough. Okay, let's do the last one. And then let's start organizing them. Okay, so there we go. We got them all on the same table. Now to organize them so it looks good. Okay, so let's just get this done. So I think where the chop saw is good, and I believe where so I think most times when people have these things, they have it kind of like this. So let's go to our grinder. So most times they have the grinder there. And then sometimes what they do with the vise is they'll rotate the vise like that. And they put them on the edge, kind of like this. Now, in my view, this looks like a poor setup. So let's take a look at it with the table actually rendered in. What we could do is we could switch we could probably maybe pull in the drill press a bit tighter. So what if we do like this? What if we go drill press and then we go like that? And what if we move the metal chop saw in further? And what if we move it actually more front and center? Like that. We can go back to the drill press and we can then move the drill press a little bit more forward in. Alright, and then what we can do with the bench grinder is bench grinder can go over to this area. It can be rotated. Alright, and then go to the drill press again. Okay, and we can take the metal chop saw then we can move the vise there. Now let's rotate the vise back to its normal position. Let's go ahead and move the vise like right there. What do you guys think? Let me get a good view for you guys. You guys like? Think it should be changed? Go ahead, give me your opinion. Alright, cool. Does it look like actually like how you guys, would see most work tables like this? Because I think it does, but it is a small area to work with. Yes, it's the Metal Fab family together. How cute. Alright, well, if everyone's okay with that, then let's move on to the looking at in-game. So save. We're going to put this at the very top, and we're going to have all the items below it. And the metal fab. Workbench. Metal fab workbench. Actually, we're just going to call this metal fab bench. We don't need to work in it. Copy. Model. Then we're going to pack it and look at it, guys. Okay, so let's check it out. Again, thank you guys for being here. I always enjoy being able to talk to people when I'm doing this kind of stuff. Makes it feel like I'm just not talking to myself. Which, you know, don't get me wrong, I have great conversations with myself, just not openly and loudly. So obviously the textures on the workbench are broken, but that's because we don't have the ammo making in the server. Okay, so what we can do here is we're copying, and we're essentially just going to be pasting these into our geometries, saving it, and then we're going to pack it up and we're going to test it, check it one more time. You know what I should do? Yeah. Alright. Check this out. Ammo making. Copy. DayZ server. Okay, so that'll. Yep, boom. Alright. Let's test this out. Yep, 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 yep. Okay. I think this looks amazing. I think we did a good job on it. Mind you, do not pay attention to the fact that I'm running around with it with one hand. Please. Okay. Yeah, I'll fix that in another stream. Sorry about that. go ahead and decrease the exposure. Let's go to there we go. Crap. Alright, I think that looks good. Alright. Going to close all that down. Go to Gyazo. We're going to save this image. I don't really care. It's in videos. Okay. Okay, so we need to get rid of the work light. Okay, so got that. Alright, let's get rid of the bottom two. So go like that. And I guess this entire side thing right here kind of takes away from the whole image.
How are you doing?
Okay,
Wanna go get a Slurpee?
sure, just a second. Alright folks, well, that is the end of the stream. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll probably stream again tomorrow, just because I want to get this done and show people what it, how it works. But I'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.